A lot of people, including myself, are terrified of the ocean. Yet somehow we still really enjoy Subnautica. I've played and beaten Subnautica so many times that at this point it's just become one of my favorite games of all time. Those of you that have seen my previous videos know that I've been running some challenges in a game called Vintage Story. And now today, I'd like to do a challenge in Subnautica very similar to my most recent Vintage Story playthrough. What if we turned the lights off on planet 4546b and played when it was only nighttime? Now for someone like me who's played this game a lot, being only nighttime isn't that much of a challenge, so I figured I'd throw another twist into it. I'm gonna play with the Living Planet System mod, or LPS, which makes random creature spawns on top of vanilla ones in biomes where they will fit. So it is not uncommon for us to find a ghost leviathan in the grassy plateaus biome. I'm hoping that this combination of nighttime and being hard to see with random creature spawns will add a nice little twist to this playthrough. Now let's begin. First, let me just say apologies for the camera and the chat on the left side of the screen. I was live streaming this as you see, and I usually have this off to the side, but forgot to move it around this time. So for the beginning part of this video, there will be some Twitch stuff. But hey, I guess, unintentional plug-in for you to come watch me live. I enjoy the company, so if you feel like doing that, come on over. Starting off in the safe shallows, we're met with the immediate darkness in this region. Though it's not too bad. If you've played Subnautica before, you understand that bioluminescence is kind of common, especially in the safe shallows, because they want you to be out and explore during the dark. So for most of the beginning of this, it's business as usual. You're running around collecting your basic resources, trying to get your knife, get your scanner, get your sea glide, all that fun stuff. The main thing here is that Subnautica, hello crab snake, really relies on you using visual landmarks to understand your orientation to the rest of the world. Since, well, there's no map. That means that some landmarks that you might use to navigate, like this bit of coral that sticks out of the water that is there for every playthrough, becomes invisible. Or, for example, the giant coral tube that has a ton of quartz also becomes very hard to spot at night. Now, I'm not sure how most people play Subnautica, but for me, I usually rush the Sea Glide and use its light for cave diving if needed. And when I'm looking for particular pieces of equipment, I know where they spawn, so I usually pop my head up during the day, or get a nice bird's eye view so that I can see if I'm in the correct biome with the correct wreckage that I'm looking for. So a change like that, for me, actually impacted the way that I played. I had to make the flashlight so that I could see the wreckage containers and look for the Sea Glide. It's pretty hard to spot it when the ocean's dark all the time, and this light does help give a little bit more range so you can see wreckage from afar. Moving on with my flashlight, I continue to scout for resources like you do in the early game, collecting everything that you basically can. From time to time, the Living Planet System mod would show me new creatures that I wasn't expecting to see in these biomes, like this crimson ray, which is usually found in a lava zone. And while the mod is functioning as intended, I do find it a little strange that crimson rays which have adapted to the lava are just suddenly near the surface of the ocean like it's no big deal. This is a theme of this mod. Sometimes you see creatures that make perfect sense, and other times you see creatures that stick out like a sore thumb. Also with this mod, the creatures that get spawned can change with varying size as well, so you can set it to be super small or super big depending on what you want to do performance-wise. It's really cool, but also really terrifying, and now I don't know what can spawn where. If I'm in this ocean, where there's the grassy plateaus and giant reefbacks, can I also have dangerous creatures like leviathans spawn here? Probably. So for the time being while I'm playing, I have to cling to the seafloor and rocks and constantly scan for more threats, because I'm just not sure what there could be. And the added fact that it is dark all the time too means I might not see what is out there. After some time though, I do get a bit more complacent. I've been playing for a little bit longer, so now I'm feeling more comfortable with things. I've been in the grassy plateaus for about an hour, haven't really run into anything too dangerous, just giant sand sharks. I'm searching for the battery charger fragments right now, but I'm a bit unlucky and they're locked behind the laser cutter doors. So things are pretty casual right now, and I'm just talking with my chat about video games like Ark Survival Evolved and stuff, but then this happens. There was a case of, I think I played it for like... Oh, that's a ghost leviathan. Why are you in the floor? Hello? Well, so much for not being stuck in the terrain. Can confirm ghost leviathan in the Grassy plateau. Great. He's stuck in the ground, though, even though I have the mod to make him not get stuck in the ground. Can I get you unstuck? Like, I'd rather have you be loose and, you know, be dangerous than have you be stuck and making noise, because then I won't hear the actual ghost leviathans that are not stuck. Oh, I think he's over there somewhere. I at least saw his tail. That's a big ghost leviathan too. Woo! After some more very careful exploring, I decided that I want to make a base in the cave mushroom biome because I never make one down here, and now knowing that random things spawn everywhere, it could be a fun biome. There might be some fun creatures down here, or it might just be safe from everything else. Either way, having a nice, safe location that I can deposit my belongings is very much appreciated at this point since I still don't have a Seamoth. The last thing I wanted to do during this stream was go to the quarantine enforcement platform and get all of the base pieces and plants that you can get from there so that I can have a stable food source. But as you just saw, seeing a ghost leviathan in the grassy plateau has me a little shaken up. The quarantine enforcement platform is surrounded by some more dangerous biomes. For one, you have the underwater islands, which by itself is usually not too dangerous, but I don't know what can spawn there. It's a pretty big biome by itself that goes very deep down. On the other side, we have the mountains, which is, well, notoriously known for being Reaper territory. So you bet I cling my butt to the side of this mountain trying to stay out of the water as much as I possibly can. Acquiring the snake game tablet, getting vamped by precursors, thoroughly cleaning every atom in my body, going to war with nature itself, and not looking down are all fun things I decided to do on this journey. After some material farming, I decided to make the most broken weapon that you can make in Subnautica, the stasis rifle, instantly flipping those deep, unknown biomes from scary to inconvenient.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
As soon as I made it over to the Aurora, I couldn't help myself from looking down. And God, I do not like this one bit. Please let me out of here. Thankfully, there's a giant ship that I totally explored the intended way. And now that I almost never have to go back there again, it's time to make a Seamoth, because I'm feeling fragile. No, 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 no!
Overconfidence.
Oh, no! Okay, whatever. Okay, swim, sea glide. No, not that, sea glide, go. Ah, finally, the Seamoth. I feel 1% better. Wait. No, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, go away. Ah, new idea. Scan things in Jellyshroom Cave. Or conversely, get scanned by things in Jellyshroom Cave and die. I haven't had that happen since I was new to this. Just before the sunbeam incident, I made a moon pool, but of course it didn't connect to my base already, so that means I have to move everything over and rebuild my base, as always. But after it's all said and done, with the help of the scanner room, I can make the Seamoth depth upgrade. But even more importantly, that scanner room helps me get the Seamoth sonar upgrade, so I'm no longer piloting blind. So, naturally the first thing I do is take this to a biome where I normally can't see anything, the underwater islands. This happens to be one of my favorite biomes in the entire game, but it has one major downside, and that would be the bone sharks that live here. Well, and now thanks to Living Planet System, the ghost leviathan that lives in here. I don't think I'm gonna be staying here for very long. I'm just gonna go gather the prawn suit materials that I want and try to ignore this ghost leviathan as best I can. The sonar upgrade is massive. This is yet again one of those circumstances where I normally wouldn't make this. I would just use my eyes and pay attention to my surroundings because I know where all the leviathans spawn. But with Living Planet System and the fact that it's nighttime, this sonar upgrade is very important so that I know what to avoid and where to avoid it. But even then, there are really fun moments where yet another ghost leviathan is hiding over here, and there happens to be a second one behind that one. Oh my god, this mod really loves to spawn ghost leviathans in my way. This is like the 5th new ghost leviathan I've seen, and with a reaper and 2 ghosts over here, I very much cherished my Seamoth, and I am getting out of here. Normally, I would visit this mountain wreckage, but I just can't get to that right now. After some exploring and a lot of farming, I finally made the prawn suit. And not just the prawn suit, but prawn suit, grapple, and drill arms as well. Now I just have to make sure my neighborhood ghost doesn't decide that this is going to be his new lunch. I waste no time putting this thing to work either. The reason why I farmed out the grapple and drill arms before I made this thing was because I live in the Jelly Shroom Cave, and it's almost impossible to get out of here with the standard thrusters of the prawn suit. I head over to the Degassi Grand Reef base to get the orange tablet, when all of a sudden I get teleported through the base out into the water by a warper. I didn't even know that was a thing that could happen. Now I know why warpers are so efficient at hunting their prey, because not even shelter matters. And because I was in the area, I head down to the Lost River to grab nickel and crystalline sulfur so that I can finally get a good jump jet for my prawn suit instead of the weak wimpy one. But of course we have to make a pit stop by the gargantuan skull just to appreciate the massive size that this thing is. This is going to be fun for my next playthrough. Now, anybody who's seen my previous content knows that apparently food and water are optional to me, and I always forget to pack extra, so here I am, dying of dehydration, trying to get out of the Lost River. Now, admittedly, it has been a while since I've played Subnautica, and I took the wrong exit. I thought I was getting out at the Grand Reef, but here I am in the Blood Kelp Trench, and that means I have to try to navigate the trench in the prawn suit with the terrible jump jet, while dying. Yeah, this didn't go too well. So now we're taking the Seamoth of Shame over to the prawn suit so that I can gather that, and then taking the Sea Glide of Shame over to the Seamoth to gather that, because I'm still scared of this ocean and would rather risk my Seamoth than my prawn suit. Now that everything's in order, I made the reinforced dive suit because I know I'm going to the lava zone soon and might as well make this. Plus, the damage negation is not too bad either, not knowing what's going to be down there. And because I'm tired of sacrificing my plants for bioenergy, I'm going to make some thermal plants and place them by the heat vents in the Jelly Shroom Cave. Now you may notice that I don't actually have the materials for the thermal plant on me, but that's because I have a mod that's supposed to pull resources from my base, so I don't really need to carry them on me. I get a little too overconfident with my ability to tank the heat damage and swim super close to the thermal vent so that I can place the thermal reactor, at least I hope. The game doesn't let me do that, and I nearly died to the molten rock that's hitting me in the face. This time I come back with a foundation and the materials for 2 thermal plants to power my base. No more bioreactor. Now that I'm done covering up my failures of exploration with failures of base building, I come out here and get a time capsule. Inside this time capsule is Harvey the hoverfish and a message from his previous owner asking me to take care of him. So, you know what I must do. I immediately head back home and give Harvey an aquarium with a view of the Jelly Shroom Cave, and he looks very happy. Fear not, my friend. Harvey is in good hands.
This is the way.
Now, can I voice a complaint real quick? There's a really cool biome called the Crag Field, which has all these spiky rocks. I'm sure you've heard of it. But nobody ever goes there. And probably the reason for that is because there's nothing really out here. There are some large resource deposits, and there is an alien teleporter from the endgame that'll take you out here. But aside from that, there's not really any cool creatures, or any interesting plants, or really anything of use. Now, I needed resources anyway, and I have the Living Planet System mod, so I figured I'd head over here and see what they added. Even if it's a Reaper or another Ghost Leviathan, I'd be happy with that. But you know what I found when I got here? The same thing as always, the Markiplier doll, and nothing else. Now maybe I just got unlucky with Living Planet System, but why does nobody add anything to this biome? The best I've seen just adds a lot more resources or Reaper Leviathans to here, which I'm fine with the Reapers, but there could have been something really cool, like an alien facility. And while there is one that adds an ion cube mining facility, and that's kinda neat, I've never ran out of ion cubes ever in my playthroughs. Anyway, back at base with a prawn suit full of new resources, I made a large room, thank you Subnautica Below Zero, but now I get to do the fun thing of migrating all of my equipment yet again. And while Harvey did lose his window access to the Jelly Shroom Cave, I think he's safer over here, and now he has some plants to keep him company. And after all that and more exploration, I made the Cyclops. I know a lot of people love the Cyclops, but I'm the type of player that would rather make the prawn suit and just prawn suit everywhere, but because it's nighttime all the time and there's the random creatures, the Cyclops has a sonar and the prawn suit does not, so therefore, Cyclops. With the Cyclops and the shield and sonar modules, I'm feeling a lot more confident now, so I head over to Sea Treader's Path to see if I can gather some resources. On Sea Treader's Path, near the dunes border, there is a ghost leviathan that likes to patrol there, so I am looking out for more dangerous creatures knowing that leviathans can spawn here. It looks like Living Planet System's adjustment for creature size has made this Sea Treader a little too big to fit through this cave, so unfortunately he's just kind of stuck there and subject to my scanning. And because resources were the focus of all this, I brought my scanner room with me, and it did pick up the ghost leviathan that sits over here, so I decided to investigate because, well, there might be more than one. I'm also noticing a trend that every time there are leviathans around, there seem to be crab snakes, and I don't know why that is, if that's supposed to be a tell for the player or what, but yep, he's definitely over here. Scratch that. After this experience, I think I figured out why the crab snake is here. Well, I've had all the fun that I want. Time to put my stuff in these lockers and get the heck out of here. Back at base, I put the Cyclops power cells in my power cell charger, and once those charged, I headed over to the dunes to see what was over there.
I can smell you. I'm creeping around right now.
Unfortunately, despite me knowing that sea dragons can spawn in the dunes, because I had to get some B-roll footage, nothing like that really happened, so I moved down to the Lost River instead. And you may notice on the right side of my screen a bunch of depth upgrades that are pinned, meaning they're not completed. And now in the lava zone, you'll see that those upgrades are still pinned in the top right. And no, I did not go and get them. Except for the Cyclops one, I just forgot to unpin that one. So now I'm crushing under deep sea pressure in my prawn suit, and I can hear a sea dragon in the distance, and also don't know what else can spawn in here. But I should have guessed that another ghost leviathan would somehow find its way here, because the mod really likes ghost leviathans apparently. But I gotta hand it to him for this one. I was not expecting a sea treader to be down in the lava zone. Once again, this makes zero sense, but I absolutely love that there's a sea treader down here. This is really cool. Near the lava castle is a smaller sea dragon, and you guessed it, another ghost leviathan. Now, unfortunately for me and my very small brain, I forgot to get the original prawn suit depth upgrade, which means I can't make the better ones, and that means I can't use it to explore the lava zone. So I have to do all of this on, foot, I guess. And while I do manage to scan and grab the blue tablet, I don't have another purple tablet, and I never made another one, so therefore I have to go get the materials to make one. My original idea was to use the shale kicked up by a sea treader to get the diamonds that I need for the purple tablet, but there were two ghost leviathans nearby and I didn't see much shale, so that really wasn't going to work out. But you can find diamonds in the Lost River, so I headed back up that way past the ghost tree since that's not the original way I came down, and I spotted yet another ghost leviathan. But I'm not mad about this one because this one makes perfect sense. It's literally the breeding ground. Now you may notice that this ghost leviathan isn't actually doing much for damage to my ship. It keeps trying to ram into me and only just now hits me for the first time before it starts to de-aggro. Since I've run into several metric tons of ghost leviathan in this run, I've learned a thing or two about the Living Planet System creatures. They seem to be a little bit buggy. Now with purple tablet in hand, I'm back at the lava castle and I swear I hear something. Is that a Reaper Leviathan? What would a Reaper Leviathan be doing down here? We'll have to worry about that one later, because now it's time to grab the ion power data because I desperately need that if I'm gonna beat the game. I have forgotten ion power data many times when playing this game because it's just something that I don't use. You get it so late in the game I don't find it that useful, but you need it for the escape rocket. I returned to find a sea dragon camping my Cyclops, and I think this is a different one because he looks bigger than the last one. So I think I'm just gonna grab the stasis rifle and prep myself just in case. Nice claw, oh my god. He does go for a swipe, but obviously can't reach me, so he turns away and I'm able to get back into the Cyclops. Just in front of the final research base, I did manage to get myself chewed up a little bit over here, so I take a stop and I'm gonna repair my Cyclops and make sure it's not leaking. There's just one spot, it's not that much damage, so I should be able to do this. I'm just delaying and being a little paranoid because there's a sea dragon out front and I don't want him to get me. There we go, there's the spot, and the sea dragon's pretty far away, so I should be fine. I'll just repair this real quick, no problems, and let's go back inside the Cyclops. Wait, really? Really? He managed to snipe me like that?
You look like you could use some coffee.
Well, that explains the Reaper sounds, I guess. Bro, come on, you're right in front of the door. How am I supposed to get in there without you eating me? Dude, what is even happening right now? Where's the Reaper? Why am I shaking? What's happening? Oh, hello. So there's the sea dragon. Okay, well, you need to leave too. Oh my god, really? Right now? Right there? And I'm supposed to go through that door right there. Come on.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
For the ridiculously high cost of a whole 2 ion cubes, I now have the recipe for the hatching enzymes. And during this playthrough, I've been attempting to grab all of the things that I could remember for it, but the one thing I'm missing is a bulb bush sample. Thankfully, there's a teleporter to the bulb zone for that, but first things first, let's go grab the sea crown that's down here. This is one thing that I find really cool about Subnautica. You can find the sea crown in different locations, but it's really rare, but they're not so mean as to not give it to you in the Sea Emperor's habitat. I think this is just good game design, because if you're more experienced and know the map like the back of your hand, you could go find a sea crown anywhere while you're out and about. But if you don't know where to go, or if you're just too lazy to, they have one right here for you, conveniently. Okay, confession time, I don't actually know which door goes to which biome here, even though I've played this a bunch. If I ever need to go anywhere, I usually go through the main teleporter back to the quarantine enforcement platform because that takes you straight to the surface. So my butt tested all of the portals, because of course it was the last one that I tried before I found the bulb zone. Does anyone actually have a way to tell which one's which? Because for me, I usually just go through the teleporter and then look at the depth and guess which one I'm at based off of that. Well, regardless, I'm back now, and that means I gotta craft the darn thing, and the only fabricator that's anywhere near me is the one that I put on my Cyclops. But as you recall, I have 2 friends that are going to war with each other, so I don't know if it's safe. No time like the present, I suppose, so here we go. Ah, what did I run into? And no, not safe, not safe, not safe, not safe, not safe, not safe. Okay, all I gotta do is go to my storage lockers and grab the... Wait a minute. Where are my glass lockers? Where are the large lockers I made? Well, reloading doesn't seem to have worked because they're still not here, so now I have to cheat in the other materials I don't have. Plus, I lost titanium and lithium and a bunch of other resources that I had on here. I've literally never had this happen before, but it seems like the lockers are either invisible or gone and there's nothing I can do about it. Keep in mind that because my prawn suit still doesn't have the depth upgrade, I'm not feeling very confident that it's not going to get destroyed by this Reaper right here since it almost did last time. I'm turning on the shields and I'm moving just a few meters closer, that way I don't have to sea glide as far and hopefully don't get eaten in the process. After curing myself of the bacteria, the last thing I needed to do was go get the Neptune rocket plants. So that means I'm heading back over to the Aurora, hopefully for the last time, to go to the captain's cabin and take care of that. Out of nowhere, this reefback spawns inside the Lost River, which I don't think is supposed to happen, and he's clearly not able to fit down here. So we just scoot right on by him and act like we didn't see that. I'm deciding to take the exit that's in the mountains by the bulb zone because I know that's really close to the Aurora, but I'm not sure what's going on, but I can hear a sea dragon in the distance, and that sort of terrifies me. And here's the thing, when I escape the cave, I still don't see the sea dragon. Not that it would matter too much since I just survived a bunch of them, but a sea dragon at night, in the dark, in the open ocean is a lot different than seeing it at all times clearly. As much as I wanted to head to the Aurora immediately, my Cyclops was unfortunately at 7% power and going down every time I needed to use the sonar ping, so instead we head to the base to swap out the power cells and then go to the Aurora. There's not much to really talk about with the Aurora, so I'm now building the Neptune rocket platform, and I need more titanium in order to do all this. And just for the fun of it, I decided to go behind the Aurora because Living Planet System might put something back here, and I haven't been back here yet. Just like most people never come back here. The Neptune platform is complete, and now it's just over here to build the rest of it. One piece at a time, which is honestly kind of the worst part. But before I do that, my ghost leviathan spawns in, and he is really close to the platform, and kinda coming this way. And there's my Seamoth. I don't really like this combination of things, so I'm going into the water to give him a friendly nudge the opposite way of my platform. He's in the kelp zone, and that's a little scary, but you know what? He can stay over there. I'm probably not going to come back over here anyway. Because I'm such a skilled player, I managed to take some fall damage entering the Neptune rocket, which is the first time I've ever had that, and maybe a first for the entire community. I've literally never seen that happen. And while the time capsule I found was heartfelt and had a friend inside, my time capsule is going to contain water and a joke, because that's just kind of the person I am, I guess. And just when you think the video's over, let me present to you one funny thing I found out. The game doesn't have an escape sequence for the Neptune rocket at night. The moment I interact with this chair, it turns to day. It's more than likely a culprit of the mod that I'm running where it's actually day, because the mod did say it messes with the day and night cycle a little bit. But I find it funny that it's instantly daytime now in a playthrough that was completely nighttime. And that's the end of this playthrough, friends. I hope you enjoyed it, because this is my first ever Subnautica YouTube video. So if you did, please do all that fun YouTube algorithm stuff. It really does help. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll be back with more Subnautica soon.